So on page 6, we're talking about times that were spent traveling to work, and this is in minutes. So your first task, if you're given a bunch of values, is type it into your L1, right? So I would definitely say this goes into L1. The next step I would do is arrange it, okay? Use sort A to do that. And so to determine the mean, median, mode, I don't think that I asked you for standard deviation or range on this page. I don't know if your booklet is already updated where that reflects this, but standard deviation and range, you should be able to do that as well. When it asks for what does median tell us, that half of the trips lasted less than 30 minutes, because we figured out that our median is 30, right? And while half of them lasted longer, right? So median is like the middle. Median is a very good measure of central tendency, especially if there are outliers, because you kind of find like this is middle where half is below, half is above of your data set. Okay. So again, I don't know what I have right now in my L1, but I think I'm just going to walk you through it. So if let's say you have a bunch of values in L1, right? You want to sort them. You want to sort whatever is in there. Then I go one variable stats and I feed it L1 if that's what you want to do the statistics for. This is the screen you get. That's your mean, standard deviation. Your min and max is here, so you can use that to find your range. You just subtract them. Your median is there as well. To get your mode, stat edit, you go back to your list and you scan your list. And you find possibly the one that shows up most often, or maybe you have a bunch of values that show up, the same number of times. Okay, so that would be your next step. So that's your mean, median, mode, range, standard deviation. It doesn't take a whole lot to do that. Maybe just watch out that you enter the numbers correctly. Okay. I ended up getting a mean, median, and mode as follows. By the way, if you arrange this, there was an outlier. I see it right here. Right? You can tell that everything, like we're in you go up to 40s, right? 43, 48, 45, and so forth. They are all kind of close together, and then all of a sudden you've got that 105. So just so you know, we would consider that an outlier, something that is significantly different than the general trend is an outlier. And the mode is 45 because I'm guessing there's a bunch of 45s in there. To do your line plot, I don't know if I gave you, was this on your sheet? Was there a line plot already? I feel like, yeah. Okay. So if I don't give you the numbers, then you have to come up with one. So what I would make sure you do, look at your min and look at your max, right? Like basically if you did the range, you will know what the lowest and what the highest is. And then make sure you start maybe a little bit lower than your min and you go a little bit higher than your max, right? Make sure you fit those values in. And then come up with a consistent increment. You want to go up by 10, so you want to go up by 100, by 500, whatever it is, just make sure it works out for you, okay? And it's a little bit of trial and error at times. To put your points down, make sure you stack if there's doubles or triples, right? You stack them. That's something that I will notice right away if you miss that. Label your mean, median, and mode. Have a label with units. And I do ask at the end, are there outliers? And I would say yes, 105 minutes would be considered outliers. It varies greatly from the general trend. So that would be page 6. Let's talk about page 7. Or was this on page 6 in your booklet? Yeah, thank you. I'm really bad. I make changes all the time because I just can't help it, and sometimes my keys don't update. So let me know if that happens. Let's keep going. The next one here, I hope you tried this. This is actually something that is very likely to come your way, where we compare data sets, right? So brand X, we've got 30 values for brand X in years. I put that into L1. I put brand Y into my L2, right? So we are going to use various columns when we're comparing. I would not suggest you overwrite. I would keep them separate, because then you can go back and forth and compare, okay? So there were 30 values for each brand, and we found the mean for both. We found the median for both. It ended up being the same. The mean is also very close, right? The average lifespan for both batteries is about the same. Median is exactly the same. So on the surface, they're like, oh, they're about the same. It doesn't matter which brand I buy. But when you dig a little deeper, this is the big one here, standard deviation. A bigger standard deviation means that on average, you're further away from the mean. The data is further away from the mean. So it's more spread out. This has a lower standard deviation, which means data is closer to the mean. Meaning most batteries, or more batteries, I should say, are closer to the mean. It is reflected in the range as well. Bigger standard deviation means a greater range. If it were me, I would go with a lower standard deviation. If everything else is the same or similar, I go with a lower standard deviation. It means more consistency. To give you an example in real life, Amazon reviews, like if I buy something from Amazon and I notice that the reviews are all over the place, like you get a 1 star, a 5 star, 2 stars, 4 stars, like it's like all over the place. I'm like, this is like a hit and miss situation, right? Even though the average looks good, it's like, oh, it's like 4.3 stars on average. I look at the spread of the reviews. That's what I look at. Is there something happening? Anyways, enough about, I think, guys, if I can say something, this is kind of a central core concept that you need to kind of master. That what does the standard deviation tell me, and how can I use that to make a decision, okay? Mode, you had to scan through your data. Mode was similar, but they have different answers there. Now, for line plots, and I'm just going over the homework, right? For line plots, you would, here's what I'm going to say for line plots, okay? Ideally, you want the same scale for both, because then you can truly compare, okay? So I went from 1 to 10, because I looked at my range. Look at this. I go to my range, and for the one set is from 3 to 8. The other one is from 7 to 4.5. So if I went from 1 to 10, that did a pretty good job. Mr. Erickson, what if I started at 3 and I went to 9? And I did the same thing for this set. No problem. Okay, no problem. I just want consistency. I felt like I'm going to go from 1 to 10 here. Most of the time I will give you a line. I will give you like already markings. You just have to come up with your scale. Okay? And then just plot, like just put them in there. And you can tell, look at this. Brand X brand X had a greater standard deviation, right, compared to brand Y. And you can see that on the data as well. This one is more spread out. This one is closer together, right? So you see that we didn't have to do this. We already knew that based on the standard deviation, okay? And if I ever ask you to describe the data, you don't have to do both. You pick which brand you want to tackle. You pick which situation, which city, and then just mention what does the mean tell me, what does the standard deviation and the range tell me. Like, these are the things that I want to, talk about. Which brand would you recommend? I recommend brand Y since it is more reliable, consistent, has a lower standard deviation. So throw in standard deviation as much as possible, okay? Throw in the mean, the standard deviation, the range. Do that over and over. What other factors would be considered before making your purchase? Of course, you would look at price, warranty. Like, personally, if I go to Costco all the time, if Costco sells something and the reviews are kind of fishy, I still buy it because it's cheaper. And are you familiar with Costco's return policy? They take back just about anything. Electronics is like a 90-day window, like computers, laptops, but anything else, it can be sometimes a year or 2 or 3, and they'll take it back. Like, I've seen people bring back old stuff, they'll take it back. So that's something to consider when you make a decision, of course. All right.